हम्म, सर तुम्ही असणार आहात की मला को होस्ट करताय? तुम्ही म्यूटवर आहात.
केलंय, कोस्ट केलं.
बर. Ma'am, I'll let the participants be in waiting room. At 12 sharp, I'll admit all of them.
Okay, sure. Shushi, can we just check if I can screen share?
Sure,
No,
ma'am.
it's my rights are disabled for screen share.
It says that.
Yeah.
अमोल सर तुम्ही आहात का?
Okay, now I have it.
ओके.
आहे आहे.
बरं बरं. नाही नाही नाही, मिळालं. मला वाटलं मॅमला राईट्स नाही. ठीक आहे.
Okay, can you see my screen, Shushti?
Yes, ma'am. Very clearly.
Okay. Okay, great. And no background sound is coming, right? It's clear, the sound. Sorry, I'm not able
A
to hear
bit
you.
of a background noise is there, but I think it's fine. You are
Okay,
still audible, ma'am. Yeah.
okay.
Ma'am, shall we start?
Sure, we can maybe give it one more minute and then we can begin. Let's see
Sure,
if
ma'am.
more people trickle in.
Okay.
Right, so I see a couple of people have already joined us. Thank you, everyone. Welcome. Let us know if you're able to hear us, see us clearly, and if there are any tech issues, do drop in a message and let us know in the inbox. Um, we'll wait a few more seconds and then we shall begin. Okay, I think we're good to go. Yeah. All right. So, welcome everyone. Good afternoon. I know it's a Saturday afternoon and it's just before lunchtime. So, I'm sure you have things planned out for the rest of the weekend. I would imagine that many of you are either students, prospective students who have completed a bachelor's, or maybe you are completing school and you're thinking about different career opportunities within the field of mental health, behavioral health science, and psychology. Or you might be parents of a child who are looking to pursue higher education in this subject. So, essentially, what we'll be doing is for the next 40 minutes to an hour or so, we'll be talking a little bit about careers in this field, what that looks like, and why it's important. I'll start with a quick introduction. I have with me my colleague, Shrishti. Shrishti, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello everyone. I'm Srishti Khara, and I am a teaching assistant at Department of Behavioral Health Sciences, Symbiosis Institute of Health Sciences, and I am your moderator today. Very happy to have Tahira ma'am. So I'd like to give a quick and brief introduction about Tahira ma'am first. So as the webinar topic says, our title for today is Pathways to Purpose, Pursuing a Master's in Behavioral Health Sciences for global mental health impact. Now, a little bit about Tara ma'am. Ma'am is a senior psychologist at Symbiosis Center for Emotional Wellbeing. She holds MSc in Social and Cultural Psychology from London School of Economics and a BA in Psychology Honours from Fergusson College. Since joining SKU in August 18, she has been instrumental in its growth, contributing to various mental health interventions, programs, and academic courses. Ma'am also serves as faculty for Department of Behavioral Health Sciences undergraduate program, focusing on psychological, socio-cultural determinants, mental health advocacy, and community mental health. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shrishti. That's very kind of you. And I have to say, Shrishti is, an incredibly hardworking faculty herself at the BSc in Behavioral Health Science now at the Institute of Health Sciences at Loveday campus. And she's one of the many team members who holds the course together. Extremely approachable to students and very supportive. So I'm really pleased to have her moderate today, and thank you so much, Shrishti, for putting this together for all of us. And as I'd mentioned, Shrishti is part of a larger team of people, of professors, teaching assistants, coordinators, who have dedicated themselves to providing quality education in this particular field, and we're headed by Dr. Girija Mahale, who is a psychiatrist. She's the head of the Symbiosis Center for Emotional Wellbeing, as well as the head of the department here at the Behavioral Health Sciences for the Health Sciences courses. So let me talk a little bit about pathways to purpose pursuing a master's in behavioral health science for global mental health impact. A lot of you might have heard topic subjects like psychology in your school days, or you might have heard about mental health. And behavioral health science is a new upcoming term, but one that is more holistic in its perspective, and something that would likely be more impactful in terms of its understanding of the subject and and how we can channel it into interventions of various degrees and populations that we'll be working with. So today we decided to talk a little bit about the behavioral health sciences program, but from the lens of global mental health. And why particularly global mental health? Because at this point in time, we are faced with challenges when it comes to our emotional well-being, and I'll dive into that a little bit for our own understanding. If you look at the statistics out there, there is a lack of mental health professionals that are available in the field. There are only 0.56 qualified mental health professionals for a very large population, and it's estimated that 20% of Indians suffer from some kind of mental health illness. We've seen this exasperate also, particularly after COVID, where people realize that when we talk about COVID being a pandemic, there was also a pandemic of isolation, and a lot of the and mental health came to the forefront in terms of discourse, understanding the impact it had on individuals. And India in itself is termed as the depression capital of the world, with 56 million Indians suffering from depression. India alone accounts for 36.5% of suicides globally, and suicide being one of the leading causes of death amongst the youth population. So if you see, I'm sure that if you read the newspapers or you watch the news, there'll always be some case of a young person who has who has is suffering depression, and there is accounts of suicide in certain situations, whether it's in colleges, whether it's in coaching centers, but even beyond the youth population, we hear about farmer suicides. And clearly we are faced with a global challenge, not and particularly in terms of when we're focusing on India, we can see that there are certain populations that are vulnerable, and that it's important for us as a nation, as a collective, to really take a look at the challenges that are presenting itself in this field. The WHO has also estimated that India's economic loss because of the prevalence of mental health is 1.03 trillion between 2012 and 2030. So it's not only in terms of loss of quality of life, but also in terms of economics, in terms of contributions to society, in terms of in terms of life expectancy. Mental health is often overlooked. We have several interventions when it comes to physical health, and physical health is tangible for individuals. When we talk about policy, when we talk about investments in physical health, we see a lot of interventions in those domains. But given mental health is not a tangible experience for many, there is a lack of understanding or awareness in this domain, and then stigma on top of that also exasperates this. So this brings up the question of, if not now, then when, and if not you, then who? Because it's a call for professionals in this industry. And our founder, S.B. Mujumdar sir, has very eloquently said that mental health is the future of the healthcare industry, which is why these courses have been curated by the Symbiosis Institutes. We looked at India specifically, but if we talk about it from a global perspective, we can see that there's a global increase in mental illnesses and non communicable diseases, which demands urgent rethinking of current healthcare systems. As per WHO, 1 in 8 people globally live with a mental health condition, and there are large treatment gaps, especially in low and middle income countries. which then further perpetuates the stigma, lack of access, and limited resources in these regions. So if you see at a global level, and we're not just talking about India, yes, within our own country there are these challenges, but if you look at it holistically and globally, there's a there are treatment gaps, there is stigma, there are limited resources, and there are also humanitarian crises that we have to also really delve into. And clearly, this emphasizes that there is an urgent need for skilled and compassionate professionals to bridge these gaps. And mental health systems are severely underfunded, where budgets are very little when it's allocated to mental health. As I'd mentioned earlier, there is emphasis on physical health, but not as much on mental health. And COVID 19 also has intensified the health challenges, as I mentioned earlier, highlighting the need for resilient community based care systems. And this is very important for us to emphasize, because you may be thinking, well, what is the difference between psychology and behavioral health science? And while psychology definitely has a place in the system, generally, if you look at traditional courses, they specifically focus on one on one curative services or counseling, which is, of course, very important. But if we are to tackle the global challenge, we need to devise very creative ways in which we can actually offer integrated and sustainable interventions across communities, so that communities can be self reliant, and where we are empowering populations to support their own mental health. So, whether that's peer support or mentoring or training or anything that's sustainable, working in communities so that we can actually meet the needs of our population, and ease the gap between services offered versus the need out there. So if you look at it globally, right, we have many different kinds of challenges. If you again watch the news, whether it's the Ukraine war, or whether there is climate change, or you'd see the fires in the U.S., or natural disasters. Even historically, there have been natural disasters, fires, tsunamis, earthquakes, and then there's food insecurity, there's displacement within our own country. We find a lot of individuals migrating from rural communities to the urban cities, but also then therefore not having access to resources in those setups. But even within rural communities, these resources not being accessible, whether it's even basic education, let alone mental health facilities. And there is a public health emergency, not only in India but globally. And many different kinds of emergency situations, whether that's famine or war or armed conflict, exasperates the current needs. So if you look at, for example, areas that are experiencing conflict of any kind, whether it's and irrespective of your any political beliefs here, but let's say there are humanitarian crises in these situations, we find that a lot of individuals experience PTSD. Then there's trauma to work through as well, and so there is a need for mental health practitioners to fully understand the dynamics within these situations, the socio-cultural dynamics, the political dynamics, the economics that plays into all of these challenges, these emergencies, and how it actually affects the individual. When we talk about social psychology, for example, which has an interrelationship with behavioral health science, we understand the individual more beyond the diagnosis, but also understand them in the context of society, how the individual affects society, and how the society affects individual. So, which brings me to the subject of global mental health. So, what is global mental health? And essentially, when we talk to our students about it, it essentially refers to an area of study, research, and practice that focuses on improving mental health and achieving equity in mental health care for all people worldwide. It emphasizes addressing disparities in mental health services and outcomes across regions, particularly in low and middle income countries where resources are often limited. So global mental health is one of the courses that we teach for the BSc in behavioral health science bachelor's course, but we are also offering this particular subject for the master's students as well. That we're looking, and we'll be launching that program in a couple of months. But this is very important for us to understand the field of mental health from a global perspective and not just limited to silos, because we see this interrelationship between subjects, whether it's economics, whether it's sociology, whether it's individual mental health, and also how these interplay with each other. And so it's important to have that kind of holistic perspective. So within global mental health, we covered subjects like understanding stigma, why it's perpetuated, what is it that we can do to create programs that combat stigma, so that we are better equipped to support the individuals in need. How do we work with vulnerable populations, whether they're children, marginalized children, women in conflict, or children in conflict? Gender and mental health is also an important subject covered under global mental health, and particularly focusing on emergencies and crisis. So we talk to the students about different kinds of emergencies, whether where they take case studies, whether it was a tsunami in Japan or a tribal conflict in Africa, or wildfires in the US, or one of our students actually picked one topic from the Netherlands where she wanted to talk about euthanasia as a practice. So we talk about these different subjects so that students have a global understanding of how mental health is playing out within those countries, and what is it that prevents individuals from reaching out for support, and what are the programs and interventions that have been created by the communities there that also keep in mind the cultural sensitivities so that these programs are successful. So you see how differently behavioral health science is set up in terms of regular psychology, where you are trained as a counselor, and behavioral health science also focuses on that, but doesn't limit itself to it. But there's a more broad understanding of how can we curate macro level systems that impact people and support them and create positive change. Another thing that we very much focus on is the integration of Western and Eastern approaches to mental health. Oftentimes, we see that Eastern approaches and Western approaches are not integrated and they work in separate silos. And there's so much scope to learn between the two, whether it's the biological models, the biopsychosocial model, or whether it's indigenous practices. There is scope for us to learn from each other and then therefore create a more holistic understanding of the subject. And that's where we also take into consideration culture and the sensitivities of individuals when integrating programs. So, for example, when we're talking about Western and Eastern approaches, which is one of many topics covered within the global mental health course, we try to integrate the scientific explanation of mental illness, which includes genetics, brain chemistry, life stressors, the Western biomedical model, where there's emphasis for medication and talk therapy, and which very much has a place in our interventions. And so, by no means are we saying that one is better than the other. The idea of this too is to understand that how do we integrate Eastern and Western approaches for a more global and holistic understanding of mental health and the approaches in these domains? On the other hand, when we talk about indigenous practices, we talk about spiritual healers or herbal medicine. Ayurveda is another example within our own country where there's an integration of these different practices. So, the other day, one of our team members talked a little about she is a yoga therapist. So she uses yoga as a means of as an approach to healing when it comes to mental health. So this is an example of how we can integrate both those learnings and really understand different approaches in different countries. This is a bit of a snapshot of what we do with our students. So, as a faculty as a visiting faculty for the Global Mental Health course, along with my partner, Dr. Vidya, who also teaches that course, and we also had guest lectures from Dr. Abhijit Nadkarni, who is one of the leading global mental health practitioners and also the director at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, to come and teach the students about global mental health. But one of the assignments that I did with them included having them choose a country and research the mental health challenges within the country, understand what has perpetuated those challenges and what are the programs that are taking place within those spaces to support the individuals in need. So you'd see that some of our students, for example, have chosen Syria, and how war has affected children within and adolescents, and uh, the general population in those areas. Another student has chosen Afghanistan, another student has chosen Netherlands, Japan. So different challenges within these regions, and analyzed it. Some of them have even actually reached out to mental health practitioners in those spaces to ask them to interview them as part of their assignment. So it really kind of enriches our understanding of global mental health. And we see India as part of this narrative also, as what we do in our country also contributes to the global landscape. And this is where we play our part as teachers, as counselors, as practitioners, to support the public, to support this growing demand when it comes to mental health needs. So overall, when we're talking about global mental health, we talk about it from the lens of behavioral health as a course and how it supports global mental health. So one is that it addresses the root causes of mental and physical illness. So we're not simply going into diagnosis and saying, oh, this person has so and so diagnosis, but we really try to understand the holistic context as to why the person is experiencing what they're experiencing, so that we're better equipped to support them and their needs. This allows for more integrated care by linking mental and physical health, and allows for early intervention. So that's where we offer more preventative based approaches where we can target lifestyle based strategies. In turn, also through research, we can also inform policy and system level change. So when we're talking about, while you talk about the grassroots level of impact, we can also talk about the top down approach where you're working with government on policy and reform change. And you get to work with vulnerable populations and be aware of the context when it comes to these interventions. We What helps with this particular course is that it allows a skilled global health workforce to be trained to work with crisis and community care, who are also culturally sensitive and are in the capacity to conduct research for scalable interventions. So, again, you might be asking yourself, well, what's the difference between psychology, mental health, and behavioral science? So this can give you an idea of the differences and the nuances between these courses. While there's very much an overlap and an integration, we'd like to think that behavioral science is a more broad study. It understands human actions in terms of context, in terms of understanding patterns and predictions, and in terms of understanding policy and research. Whereas you might, with psychology and mental health, the focus is on emotional and physical well-being, and that's not negated by behavioral health science. We also focus on that when it comes to behavioral health science. But we there's a more expanded version of the subject. Yeah. So that brings me to the MSc in Behavioral Health Science. Please let us know if you have any questions, or if you want to drop a comment in the chat box. You're welcome to also add comments, and what we can do is maybe at the end of the webinar, you can unmute yourself and maybe ask some questions. It would be great to know where you all are studying, where you're coming from, and what's brought you to this webinar, particularly in terms of your own interest areas. So let me talk a little bit about the MSc in Behavioral Health Science, which is a course that we're offering here at the Symbiosis Institute of Health Science. We had first launched our BSc in Behavioral Health Science 3 years ago. So we have our final years who will be graduating this year, but of course we've changed our 3 year course into a 4 year course. And now we will also be launching our MSc in our Masters in Behavioral Health Science this year, and classes will begin in September 2025. So we are full swing into admissions. And if you're someone who's interested in pursuing a master's, then maybe this might be worthwhile for you to sort of sit through. So let me tell you a little bit about the master's program. Uh, the team here at the Symbiosis Institute of Health Sciences have curated a very robust and integrated masters for individuals who are looking to make a national impact, a global impact. What it is essentially a holistic national education policy aligned approach for future ready professionals in the field of mental and behavioral health. It's evolving rapidly, and but there are, as I mentioned, challenges of stigma, workforce shortages, and fragmented healthcare. Therefore, there is a need to train a cadre of individuals who will be able to tackle these challenges. And therefore, the MSc in Behavioral Health Science was designed to bridge the gap through a multidisciplinary, skill driven curriculum that goes beyond traditional psychology degrees. Uh, so it is infused with clinical expertise, research capabilities, and practical skills. And students who do join this program will get access to different to skill labs, clinical postings, and supervised research projects, which I'll talk a little bit about more as we progress into this PPT. But Symbiosis has very robust infrastructure and access to resources and opportunities. So, as a master's student, you will get access to all of those opportunities. So, why choose, as I mentioned, why choose the MSc in Behavioral Health Science? It is national education policy aligned. And there will be a blend of psychology. So it's not that you will not be psychology is the foundation of what you're going to be doing, but you don't just stop there. You're not limited to only psychology. You'll also be studying neuroscience, behavioral health science, healthcare, to make sure that you're receiving a holistic education and that there is real world applicability, because ultimately we want individuals to go out there and make a difference, whether that's setting up your own clinic or whether that's creating programs that have impact, whether that's teaching, whether that's research. It could be anything that you choose to do, but essentially this course will want to prepare you for that. So, what does the MSc include? It will provide students with a deep understanding of psychological theories, behavioral principles, and evidence based practices, ensuring research skills. So, I have to say that in Symbiosis is a very strong culture of research. Students are expected to produce research to really explore topics that they're passionate about. And we receive many very interesting projects from the students in terms of their interest areas, and it can range from everything from understanding the impact of social media to understanding eating disorders to understanding how interventions work for children, how play therapy works for children. So it could be any topic that the student is interested related to behavioral health science, and they're very much encouraged to pursue research here at the institute. We also focus on exploring strategies for mental health promotion and prevention, and also improve treatment outcomes. So, when it comes to counseling, which is also what master students will be trained in, to make sure that they are equipped for the healthcare sector. Also, there's a holistic understanding of the mind and body connection, and application of counseling in various settings. So, whether you choose to work in a hospital or a private clinic or a corporate, you will be equipped to know to have the right tools to engage with individuals who seek support, to be able to hold empathetic space, to be able to build rapport, to be able to formulate cases properly, and also then understand the various treatment approaches that could be used to best help the person heal and support them through their emotional health challenges. So, when it comes to enhancing the communication between clients and healthcare professionals, is another focus area, and supporting existing framework when it comes to mental health professionals. So, what are the focus areas of study? There is an integration between behavioral influence on physical and emotional well being, understanding emotions, cognition, and psychological well being, understanding patterns of behavior and coping, addiction, eating disorders, sleep disorders. So, these are also, when it comes to psychopathology, these are topics that are also covered within a regular psychology course, or if you choose to pursue an MA in psychology or clinical psychology, particularly. But of course, we also cover it in the MSc in behavioral science, so that the student has this holistic understanding of mental health, and if they choose to practice, they can. There is a there also, when it comes to approaches, when it comes to managing distress, understanding the root cause of distress, understanding coping strategies, and management of symptoms. These are all things that are also covered in the course. So you might be wondering, well, okay, this sounds like an interesting course, but what can I do post the masters? The intention is that students who graduate from this course will be able to work as behavioral therapists, serve as integrated counselors, research assistants if they choose to pursue a career in research, psychosocial support workers, or even go into advanced education if you want to pursue a PhD and teach. Those are also options for you. So, why behavioral health science? If I had to sum it up, it focuses on broader system based focus. There is an emphasis on prevention and holistic care. There's an integration with global and public health, and it's interdisciplinary. So, when we talked about global mental health earlier, we understood that the large scale problems of varied kinds, whether it's climate change, conflict, migration, and the impact of all these negative experiences on an individual, and how that in turn affects communities, and then how it in turn affects families, and then so we're understanding both micro and macro systems. But so when you're working with individuals in a one-on-one counseling setup, we're also understanding it from all angles, from the grassroots level, from the bottom up approach, and the top down approach. So behavioral health science will offer that kind of integrated understanding. There is strong emphasis on practical exposure, research, and professional training. And the program ensures that graduates are workforce ready and ready for a diverse career, whether it's research, counseling, or healthcare, or any other domain. So, of course, when I mentioned research, again, laying emphasis on the fact that research is a vital part of the master's program. It is important in any master's program, but particularly in this one, given there's so much scope to pursue different topics and different interest areas. You will be supervised by a faculty who will offer support in helping you develop your analytical skills. And there's also collaboration. So, as I mentioned, we are collaborating with different faculty members globally who come down to Pune to the Lovely campus to teach and take courses, and they are specialized in their own domain areas. For example, we've had Dr. Suresh Balamat, who's from NIMHANS, would come down and teach our students and take specialized course classes. Or, like as I mentioned, Dr. Abhijit Nadkarni, who is from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, who came down to talk about global mental health. And like that, we have many different teachers coming in to share their knowledge and their experience of the subject. There'll be clinical exposure and field training. So, if you do get a chance to check out our social media pages, you'll see several of our BSc students who are pursuing different kinds of internships, whether they're working in communities or they're working in hospitals. So we do have the Symbiosis Hospital, which is at the Loveday campus, and many of our students choose to intern there and work in the psychiatric ward, assisting in supporting individuals who come in looking for treatment. And so you will get postings of different kinds, and there's field work, which is practical learning beyond the classroom. So when we were talking about the ecosystem and the integration with other departments, we have the Symbiosis Medical College for Women, the psychiatry department at Symbiosis Hospital and Research Center. We also have a geriatric care facility. We have Scope, which is the Symbiosis Community Outreach Program that does exceptional work with communities and in the villages around Lovely campus. So a lot of students go there and they conduct workshops uh, for uh, for the communities in these rural and semi-urban setups. We also have the Child Learning and Development Center, where often students who want to work with children specifically get to observe sessions taking place in the play therapy room or the occupational therapy room. And then we also have the Symbiosis Center for Emotional Wellbeing, which is the knowledge partners for the Symbiosis Institute of Health Sciences. So the team here at the Symbiosis Center for Emotional Wellbeing played a role in curating the BSc program and launching it 3 years ago. And we Symbiosis also, the SKU as we like to call it, continues to be a collaborative partner with all the mental health initiatives that Symbiosis Institute of Health Sciences carries out in terms of their courses. So within STU, we have a team of 40 mental health professionals that work in supporting students, staff, and faculty with their mental health. So we have curative services, promotive, and preventive services as well, where we conduct activities to raise awareness about mental health, reduce stigma. We also deliver courses on emotional well-being and different courses around that, whether that's psychological first aid or whether that's building resilience. There are many different topics that we offer. We also do various activities to build awareness around mental health, and so we're often looking for people to join us in this endeavor. And so I'm sure that master students who graduate from this course will definitely find it worthwhile to support SKU in all the activities that we do here on campus. We attend to almost the entire Symbiosis population, which is almost 20,000 students. And so it's a large population to work with, and great learning, a great scope for impact, whether that's counseling or whether that's teaching or whether that's promotion and preventive activities. So it's very diverse and fulfilling in terms of the work that's being carried out. So, in terms of the MSc in Behavioral Health Sciences, students who pursue this particular course get to specialize in two domains of their choosing, one of the two domains of their choosing. So, one of them is the counseling psychology specialization, which is focusing on providing therapeutic support to individuals, couples, and groups to improve their mental health. And this is essential because there is the rising number of people experiencing depression, anxiety, stress, relationship difficulties, and there's a growing demand for mental health services. And so, since we have a lack of trained professionals, this is a scope for a person graduating from this course. The other specialization offered within this master's is the health psychology specialization, which is essentially understanding the psychological factors that influence physical health and well being. And why this has been included is because there are rising health concerns where we have chronic diseases that are stress related. So oftentimes you'd find, and this is where we go back to the earlier point where the mind and body are connected, and that's where we need to have that holistic understanding of mental health. And so when the mind, when a person is experiencing mental health challenges, it affects the body and vice versa. And so it's very important to understand the relationship between the mind and body. And so a health psychologist will be able to understand and play a crucial role in promoting wellness, disease prevention, lifestyle changes, understanding illness and the psychological aspects of illness, and then supporting individuals in managing their health by promoting more positive health related behaviors. Yeah. So this is a glimpse of the courses in the master's program. There's global behavioral health, as I had mentioned, global mental health is a part of it, but you'll also be looking at neurobiology. So this the so it's a nice balance between understanding the individual and the physical system, but also understanding society and the social implications of and the impact of mental health. You'll also have psychological theories and models of human behavior, psychosocial dimensions of health. There'll be clinical assessment and pathology, which you'll also be covering. So there is a big segment of a clinical understanding of mental health as well. Neuroscience, and then you can choose to pursue neuroscience beyond the masters if you choose to. There's also an emphasis on diagnostics, so you understand how certain personalities are, how certain disorders play out. And then there's also areas of counseling, psychotherapy, and guidance and career counseling, if that's what you'd like to also pursue. And then, as well as research, which I had also mentioned. So, statistics will also be a part of that upskilling so that you can pursue research if that's if there are certain ideas that you would like to explore and you have questions around it, then this would be a good opportunity to explore it in terms of a research project. And of course, there are internships as well, and you get to collaborate with any of the departments that were listed. But it's not limited to that only. There are several other collaborations beyond this listing that health, the Institute of Health Sciences has carried out in terms of collaborating with NGOs, with different kinds of clinics, different private practices, and even centers, whether it's policy law center, or whether that's other universities where you get to also attend conferences, and also maybe pursue different courses as an extension to what you're doing. So there's a scope, many different kinds of scope for you to pursue here. These are just visuals of some of the things that our bachelor students have been carrying out over these last few years. So this is some of our BSc students who had gone into communities. So they had conducted these emotional well-being exercises for girls in orphanages, and they conducted skits and plays to focus on building resilience, and focus on how to manage emotions, how to combat stress, how to build hope. So these are different activities that they did, and it was received really well by the students. But this is one of many examples of students who go out. They have this thing called service learning, where they go out in the communities and offer their knowledge and their understanding of the subject for the locals of the community or the individuals within the community. And students work with different populations. So in this case, we were working with children, but students do also meet, also go to old age homes or work with different populations as per their interest. These are images of our play therapy room and occupational therapy room, as I mentioned earlier, and students often go there as well if they want to observe sessions. These are images of the work that we carry out at Symbiosis Center for Emotional Wellbeing in our colleges. So we conduct peer support programs, we have support group circles, we have different kinds of activities to raise awareness, whether that's kindness day, whether that's happiness day, whether that's it could be different topics related to emotional health. And it's a combination of conducting courses, offering group circles, and also doing different kinds of promotive activities. These are images of students here again at the BSc in mental health, in behavioral health. Now it was initially called mental health, but now we've called it behavioral health science for it to adequately, stand for the kind of work that's being done within these courses. But art therapy is another one that we conduct those sessions as well for our students. And eclectic forms of therapy is also something that is pursued within our counseling courses as well. Yeah, so of course, again, we gave you a glimpse. You can work as an individual, as a mental health, as a professional in a counseling setup, or you can work with communities. So there's the healthcare, there's community health organizations, NGOs, schools, educations, corporate settings, and research. These are all the domains that you could pursue, and these are your and possible future academic opportunities. So again, again, going deeper into different career opportunities, whether it's a public health advocate or a wellness coach, depending on what your interest areas, those are things you could actually pursue. If you wanted to become a school counselor or work as a private practitioner, there's scope for that as well. So this is just a glimpse of, again, when we launched our BSc degree course a few years ago. We had chief guests like Dr. Anuradha Soni and Dr. Vasudev Parlikar. And these are again just examples of many where we've had stalwarts of the field who've done extensive work in their own domain come and meet the students, talk to them about their experience and their expertise. And it's really great learning for all of us, for students and faculty alike. This is our faculty. So you see the top picture. These are the the faculty and teaching assistants and coordinators at the Symbiosis Institute of Health Science, but we also have the SKU team, and everyone finds a way to contribute to this bigger vision for the bachelor's and the master's program. So where does this take? Where are these courses held? So we have the campus at Lovely, where we have all these facilities, and of course you get access to different kinds of resources in terms of sports facilities, medical facilities, and many others. And in terms of eligibility, you might find these details on the website also. We have a preference for students who graduated in their as a bachelor's in psychology, mental health, or social science, or behavioral science or related field. And the process, so we have actually begun admissions. So admissions had started on 24th of March. So admissions is ongoing. The last date for registration will be 30th of August, after which we close taking in registrations, and then the program itself will launch on the 8th of September. So you might be wondering, okay, what is the admissions process? So it includes your bachelor's and a statement of and your marks sheets for your bachelor's programs, but also a statement of purpose as to why you would want to pursue a master's, and then there'll be a personal interview with a faculty member from the program. Intake right now is about 30 people, and it's a 2-year full time course. And if you have any further questions on this, please feel free to take down the information on the screen. There are phone numbers included, and there is also an address. So I request you to take down the phone number. You can also take down the website details if you feel like you'd want to pursue more details on the subject. And that brings me to the end of the master's program. But let's suppose you decide that maybe you want to take a different route. That's completely fine. We'd still encourage you to actually join us for our conference, which is different from the conversation about the masters. So we're really happy to share that Symbiosis will be hosting an international conference on the 3rd and 4th of October called the SimPsych. And the focus here is navigating the paradigms. So, shifting away from mental health to more behavioral science, which is a more holistic approach to the subject. How do we translate what we learn in the classroom to community impact? And how do we shift from a perspective of illness to a perspective of wellness instead? And these are the conversations we're looking to have during the SimSite conference. We have invited many eminent speakers for these 2 days, whether that's Dr. Vikram of Harvard University, or whether um, the brochure is available online if you want to actually see who all are coming in. Very interesting line of speakers. And we have Dr. Paul Fung from Australia, and these are all individuals who've done substantial work in their area, and be very interesting to hear them speak about the kind of work that they've carried out. If you're interested in joining us during the 2-day conference, and you're also welcome to send an abstract where we'll be taking in different submissions for research abstracts, and selected abstracts will get to present during the conference as part of one of our sessions. And who knows, you might be able to actually showcase your work, and if you pursued a certain domain or interest area within the realm of behavioral health science, then please feel free to submit your abstracts. The details for submission have been mentioned here, but you can also check out the website. So the website is www.sihs.edu.in, SimPsych /SimPsych 2025. So maybe Shrishti will also add these details in the chat box. So if you choose, you can either choose to, if you're more than welcome to join us at the conference and apply for the master's program, or if either way, do join us for the conference, so that we get to hear from you and also be part of that discourse. and dialogue around the subject. So I'll pause here. I know that was a lot of information. I hope that maybe it clarified your questions about a master's in behavioral health science, and it might have piqued your interest in this particular subject domain. And you're welcome to reach out on the contact details provided if you have any further questions. So I'll pause here. I'll open it up to the group if you have any questions to ask. Okay. Maybe you could give us a sense of, whether you've completed your bachelor's in psychology or a social science subject. Maybe you could mention it in your chat in the chat box. And what got you interested in a master's in behavioral health science? Anyone would like to share? No? All right. All right. Any questions from the group? All right. I think we can pause here. Shrishti, over to you.
Okay. So firstly, allow me to take this moment to express my gratitude towards you, ma'am. Indeed, this was a comprehensive yet commendable chunk of information on everything not the students, but even a faculty would look for to understand the global mental health impact, along with that, behavioral health sciences in the master's program. And coming from the faculty and then going on to SimSci conference and how did we start BSc in mental health back then, now coming to Department of Behavioral Health Sciences. So that was a comprehensive guide, I would say, and lovely to see all the PPT slides. To attend it as a faculty, I think was great, and much glad to have you as a speaker today. And I think it was an audio visual treat for all the participants attending with us right now. So thank you so much for that, ma'am. I'm more than happy to have you here today. And I would want to express my gratitude to all the participants for being here with us. And I'm sure that it's a Saturday hangover that students are a bit more into a chill mode, I feel, rather than interacting with us today. So that is completely fine. But bearing with us is more than enough for today's webinar, I feel. Along with that, I would request everyone to please put up their camera so that we can have a quick group photograph. Ma'am, you can stop sharing meanwhile. Can we please have the cameras on? Yeah, thank you, Asmita. Yes, Vineet, Parnika, Pavna, Priyanshi, Pratibha, and yeah, Anushka. Okay, glad to see all those lovely faces on
Yeah,
screen.
I think it makes the experience very different when we get to see them actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
ma'am.
hope, yeah, I hope that this information is valuable to all of you, and I'm sure you're in the middle of making big decisions. If you have just completed your bachelor's, or even if you completed 12th and you're trying to figure out where you want to go in the future, what you want to do, I'm sure it's daunting to make these decisions, and that I don't envy you in any way because I know it's difficult. You have all these different choices, lovely choices also, whether it's psychology or behavioral health science. But I hope that today you got a little bit more clarity about what is behavioral health science and why it's different from the psych. It is still psychology, but much more holistic and broad and advanced in its understanding. So whether that's understanding community advocacy, ultimately it's about bringing change and uh, uh, you know bringing a positive impact to the people, individuals, and communities that we work with. So if you have any doubts, do go on our social media pages and you'll get better understanding of what our bachelor students do and what that might look like for you as a master's student. Yeah. Any questions from anyone?
Or maybe a quick feedback
Yeah.
that would help as well. Anyone?
Just how did you get to know about this webinar and this course, and how many of you are very much thinking about a master's in this field?
I will like to
Show
say
of hands.
not
Yeah.
exactly the master's, but I've already applied in the BSc in Behavioral Health Sciences
Okay.
as continued through the interview only. So I'm just waiting for the results.
Okay, okay. So this is because so you have, and I wish you all the best for that. But
Thank
this is great that a lot of our bachelor students are thinking of pursuing a master, so they're continuing their bachelors into their masters. So it's a clean trajectory, and you have opportunities laid out for you. So if you have any questions about what to do after the bachelors, this is one option also. Yeah,
Sure, ma'am, definitely. Well, the
yeah.
session was much informative as well.
What about the others? Thank you so much, Asmita. Much appreciated. Anyone else would like to share or ask anything? Okay.
Okay.
Anyone who's pursuing a bachelor's in Pune right now? Who's completed the bachelor's in Pune? Okay, well, all in different locations. Just for our interest. Okay, but no issues. Good luck, and whatever you decide, I hope that it's meaningful for you, that you feel satisfied, and that you enjoy your studies most of all.
Okay, with this, we would like to end the webinar and thank you so much for being there. Please enjoy your Saturday. Thank you for being with us. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Shruti. Thanks for being here.
Most welcome.
I'll de-link.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. Do you need me for anything more?
No, ma'am, it's done. I'll just stop the recording.